Welcome to the podcast. My name is Michelle Sinclair. I am a divine healer, meaning I help people heal from physical ailments, emotional issues, all kinds of things very rapidly. And I help them to do this through discovering divine truth, which has been given to me through my own enlightenment. It came several years ago. So today we're going to be talking about the love. And so I want you to for a moment, contemplate what I'm about to say to you, as it's a marvel of creation that none can deny. Just as the only difference between your hair cell and your scalp cell lies within the intelligently done work that they perform, these invisible miracles are everywhere if you only look. So the sheep, they graze in fields day after day, consuming only grass. Now this grass fuels and creates their bone, blood, flesh, fleece, organs, etc. And this grass will also be all that is needed to produce young and the substance needed to feed them. What is contained within the grass that allows for bone, blood, flesh, and fleece, and the production of young and the means by which to feed the young? Is this not a marvel of creation? And so not only is the grass sufficient to produce all these things, but it will also ensure that the sheep itself has every attention to detail taken care of for its happiness and survival. Wool to protect the flesh, and in the wool is healing lanolin, which is a marvel in and of itself. And then eyelashes to produce or to protect the eyes from dust. And hooves to cover the foot and protect it. Every attention to detail has been given to the sheep to ensure that its highest level of comfort can be obtained. And the sheep does not complain about his lot, and therefore he does not undo the perfect work in which the Father has done within him. Let me tell you how this is done. Let me explain to you this marvel to which you contemplate. Everything is consciousness. Every single thing. Think of a seed. What is this tiny little seed? If it becomes a tree, from whence has come the bark and the foliage and the limbs and the trunk? It's come from the tiny seed, because all that tiny seed is consciousness, the knowledge of that which it will become. Trees do not argue about their lot in life. They do not complain about the weather, and when the seasons change, they don't complain when they lose their leaves and go into a dormant period. They do not complain, and therefore they do not undo the Father's perfect work within them. Yes, indeed, a seed is just consciousness. It's awareness of what it will become. What a marvel. Now, science could explain the process as it observes the seed and the plant's growth. It can explain what it observes and the functions of those things, but it cannot explain the great why. What has given this awareness to the seed? Where has the conscious information come from? Yes, it was passed down from a mother tree, but where did the consciousness originate for the original mother tree? That it should not only know what it is, but perform this knowing silently, perfectly, and with purpose for millions of years. Does not all of creation have purpose? And if you were to search high and low and all over the entire planet, you would not be able to find one thing in nature that does not have purpose. This is the sign of true intelligence, awareness. All things Yes, indeed, all things, every single thing has purpose. Therefore, all things also have consciousness within them and are the product of that conscious awareness. It is only humans, through our ego drives, our likes and dislikes, our condemnations and resentments, our anger and hatred, our judgments and criticisms, our spite and jealousy, our thieving and backbiting, and our devious and deceptive ways. It is these things which cloud our pure connection to the divine, leaving us living in a dense fog to which we cannot see or experience the truth of all that is. We cut ourselves off from the Father's constant inflow of love when we behave and think in such contradictory ways to the Father's true intentions for us. This love is ever flowing, but when covered in clouds of lowly thinking, one will not be able to see it, feel it, or even know that it is indeed present at all times. So back to the sheep. So notice the sheep's demeanor, right? The sheep, they listen to the shepherd. He's calm, and he doesn't get himself into much trouble. And if a sheep were to get himself into a predicament, and the shepherd heard his bleating, well, the shepherd would leave the flock and attend to him and assure that he is safe and his well-being is looked after. This is how the Father cares for those who follow him. Do not think that you have been abandoned. If you are experiencing a dryness of your spiritual life, then look at what it is that you are doing and examine your mindset. Have you allowed the lower frequencies, those I just mentioned, to permeate your mind and therefore your life? If you have, then you will not feel the Father within you. It is not a punishment from the Father. No. This has been done through your own free will and must be undone through your own free will. It is not a punishment, but a natural law of existence. Examine your mindset. Does anyone come to mind to which you feel animosity? Heal it. Forgive, forgive, forgive. When we carry such negative consciousness forces within us and therefore within our environment, the negative destructive forces that are sent out through that thought to that other person will be returned back to you as a harvest of your own reaping. You are gaining nothing by not forgiving. Now, Jesus spoke of forgiveness over and over, and he knew and he preached that we reap what we sow. And he knew and he preached to the people and tried to teach them that what you dish out to others will come back to roost, whether this be good or evil. What you would wish others to say about your mistakes, say that about their mistakes. You will be a blessing and you will be blessed by this. What we do for others is returned to us. What we do to others is returned to us. What we say about others is returned to us. What we give to others will be returned to us. Do not think that you can allow yourself to indulge in the low vibrational energies and expect that higher ones will be returned to you. It's an impossibility. What one sends out from the mind, heart, and mouth will be returned to the sender at some point. Therefore, give the good and be the good that you wish to experience in the world. Now, I speak about the love because the love really matters. And I want to be clear that any and all healing that my clients will experience is love made visible. And the results might come immediately or might come in a couple days or not at all according to their faith. It, as in love, is felt by all who come across it and are not so shrouded in hate and malice that they have become spiritually blind. And even these men might also see a glimpse and recognize their wrongdoings and later go on and change their lives because of it. But let me be clear that no healing that is done at my office is done by myself. What you are witnessing or experiencing, if you are the one receiving the healing, is the love of the divine being made visible. Any and all healing is love made visible. Now, what is witnessed is the love, in which I term the divine, the Father, the Mother, loving consciousness, and many other terms. All that it is love. It can be none other than what it is, and it is perfect. It promotes the healing of all things, whether we think of them or not. It is what compels your cells to heal when they're injured without any help from you. It heals a scab and creates new skin without as much of a thought about it from you. This work goes on uninterrupted, and it goes off perfectly without a hitch unless it is messed with by an outside mind, that of the host or an outsider who would contaminate love's perfect work that is being done within you. Now, if I was love and only love, would I want to slay my enemies? No. One of perfect love would have no enemies. And if they did, if someone didn't love them, they would love them equal to the others. They would know that it's only the ego consciousness and control and not the actual soul, as the soul is much too wise for something as meaningless as an enemy. And when living as a soul without a body attached, something like an enemy simply does not exist. Love would not slay your enemies either, because love would love your enemies equal to you. Now, the love that I speak of, it runs so deep, and it exists within everything. It sits and it waits in perfect equilibrium, waiting to be invoked with consciousness, waiting to be given life. It will show you the way by how you feel. When you're happy in your loving life, and your every loving thoughts are filled with more and more goodness, and your life is filled with laughter and goodwill towards others, you know that you're on your way. And if you've not yet experienced the fullness of divine's love, stay the path and you will. You can study the Christ letters. My teachings and healings are all based in the letters and the enlightenment which came to me from them, exactly as was promised in the letters. I experienced all of it. Everything it said I would, I did. Now, this love is perfect, and it can be witnessed in nature, as every loving attention to detail has been given to the animals. Every loving thought given. Animals that are prone to flies are equipped with long tails to speedily remove them. The color and the unique sense of flowers, why do these exist but for our mere pleasure, and to give us medicines and teas and colors for our clothes and other wonderful things? All the unique sense, why? If not done by love. Animals' feet protected by hoof and nail, and eyelashes to protect the eyes from dust and debris, hair to keep the body warm and protect it from the sun. What loving and purposeful attention to detail has been given. Every loving thing has been given to you. And it is only man's mind which gets in the way and undoes the perfect work that the Father has done within you. Man's mind is his consciousness life force tool. And it is through man's mind that all things are created in this world. And it is through his mind that everything in his life has come to pass or will come to pass. It is the beliefs that you hold within your mind that either uplift and promote the well-being of the self and those around you, or downgrade you, degrading the well-being and bringing down your house around you. It is all beliefs in man's mind. And when any beliefs are present that are not in alignment with the divine's highest intention for us, it will be felt in the body or the psyche as a disturbance of some sort. But the person may be so used to these lower frequencies that they are wholly unaware. They're wholly unaware. And they might see higher frequencies as undesirable, as they're so askew to their life in which they're unwilling to look at. This is also not to be judged, as each is here for a different reason, yet the highest and best you can ever hope to attain for yourself is the freedom that comes from the true connection with your source of being. Now, I speak of free will, And we have it, and it's free, but is it really? So no, there's not some God on high sitting in a chair who hates your enemies as you do, that wants you to kill his own beautiful creation to atone for your sinning, that wants you to place your enemies, to which he loves equal to you, beneath your feet, that's going to come down and strike at you if you don't use that free will to the best of your ability. There's not. There is, however, laws of the universe, and they will ensure that you get what you give, as to not upset the natural balance of things. Our free will is our ability to choose anything for ourselves. You can choose high vibrational thoughts, words, and actions which return to us more of the same. We can also choose low vibrational thoughts, words, and actions which will return to us more of the same. Our thoughts are electric, and through the process of electromagnetism, they will return back to us. So yes, we have free will, and we can choose and do whatever we wish. And through our electrical thoughts being returned to us through magnetism, we reap as we sow. What we cast out through thought, word, and action is inescapable through the laws of electromagnetism, the law of cause and effect. Electromagnetism is the twofold energies of bonding and rejection. Energy impulses which have brought stability and order into chaos, and there is nothing that electromagnetism has brought into visible being which the human mind can deem to be lacking purpose or meaning. Now, science speaks about electromagnetism, but it can't say from whence come such energies which appear and disappear. Where do they go? Why do they come back? Science says that electromagnetism just is. It's just a simple fact of existence, yet it produces highly purposeful and intelligent work in the form of millions of billions of substances which the universe has made. How does this happen? Did you know that the only difference in the cells producing your hair and that of your scalp is the intelligently designed work that they perform second by second throughout a lifetime? If there was no consciousness present within the cell, how would it know how to perform its intelligent work? How do the cells know which nutrition to select, to take into the cell for its well-being and health, and which to excrete? How do these cells, invisible to the human eye, perform their work perfectly for millions and billions of years? Is there not an impulse of purposefulness apparent in this process? When creating a kidney, they don't all of a sudden make an ear. Now, science will tell you that it's the almighty DNA, your supreme leader, your director of creation, upon which materialistic flimsy cells in the whole of creation must depend for its survival. Behold the glorious DNA, Lord of your creation. From whence did the DNA cells draw their intelligent directional powers? Behind and within every living thing is consciousness. Where there's life, there's consciousness, and where there's consciousness, there is life. This intelligently and purposefully designed universe in which we live was created through consciousness. And if we were to ask science, at what point is consciousness first discernible, what do you think that they'd say? We could ask about the cells who do their intelligently designed and purposeful work day after day, replicating themselves billions and billions of times, taking in selected nutrition and excreting toxic waste as to be able to perform its duties over a lifetime, doing only its intended work for the well-being of the individual. Okay, now if that was deemed that yes, consciousness is present in the cells, then we could ask, is consciousness discernible in the electrical particles which agitate at high speeds within space and take on density and bring together visible matter? Science cannot tell you what is the motivating force which draws particles into the form of elements, yet they are drawn together in a purposeful and intelligent way. Neither can science tell you from whence such energy particles originate. They will say that they were released during the Big Bang, which they believe gave the first impetus to creation. Why a sudden Big Bang? Of what? What was the motivating force behind it? I will say this again, there is nothing that electromagnetism has brought into visible being which the human mind can deem to be lacking purpose or meaning, and is not purpose the very hallmark of intelligence? Science ignores this most basic and vital level of creation, and without an answer to this creation as to why everything has been brought into visible manifestation by the activity of the twin energies of electromagnetism and is invariably purposeful, successful, and rational, nothing of any value in the search for your origins will ever be discovered. Yes, science can prove things with devices that they've made themselves, assuming that only the five senses are involved and not some outside motivating force intelligently holding it all together. But enough about science, in which there's not yet any spiritual life until some brave enlightened scientist dares to challenge science on its principles. There will be no scientific progress. And I don't say any of this to make anybody feel bad. This is not my wish. It's my wish for you to understand this fact of existence. I've been led off the path this year. I was not taking the time that I should have been taking. You know, I would connect daily, but this was not enough. It needed to be more intentional and less of the world. That's what I needed. You know, so seek nothing other than that which has given you being. Look for fulfillment in nothing else but it, and it shall sustain you. And it's because I've seen and experienced and been at one with it that I can tell you these things. When we get in tune with that love, there is nothing that it cannot accomplish. And I need for you to know that the intelligence behind our universe in which we live and all of the creation, the basis of that intelligence is love. And everything that you witness when you look around you, every single tiny little bit of it, every element that you see is love. And if you are experiencing something other than that, it is only because it has come from the mind, your mind. This is why I made that mental cleanse series here, that playlist on YouTube. You can go and you can mentally cleanse away all the things that are hell in your life. Let me explain that to you. So there's fear and there's love. And you experience both of them, fear and love. Now, this is what I believe, because I've experienced it and I've seen it, and I've seen that when we believe in something other than the love, we are then putting our energy and our focus on it, and we are therefore creating it. We are therefore feeding the hell. Right? So fear is attached to hell and love is attached to heaven. And when you're living in love, and you know that this is true, right? When you're having love and thoughts, it feels like you're living in heaven, right? And when you're living in fear-based thoughts, it feels like, oh, you're living in hell, right? Pretty simple. But what we forget is that when we feed that fear, when we feed that hell, we're creating more and more of it. It's not just in that moment that you're experiencing it, but you are setting it up for yourself in the future. Therefore, you can create heaven here on earth through your thoughts. Now, I might say, well, what happens when something comes to you and it's not a heavenly thing? Well, here's what you can do. First of all, you can get real honest with yourself, and you can look at it and you can discover the reason why it is presenting itself to you. Did you do it in the past? Is it returning back to you? Did you speak about it in the past? Did you fear that it would happen? Is it here to teach you something? Is there some lesson that you need to gain from it? There will always be a why. And when we can look at that negative thing that is being presented to us, and we can gain the awareness of the why behind it, why it's happening, well, then we can ensure for ourselves, well, I'm not going to set myself like that up again in the future. I'm not going to do that to myself ever again in the future. I'm not going to believe in that stuff anymore. I'm only going to believe in the love. And then when you give your mind over and you believe in only the love, meaning only the goodness, meaning only the truth, because the truth will set you free, and it always feels like freedom, doesn't it, that truth? When you can live in only the love, you're going to change your life completely. And the actual visible matter that's around you is going to change. Your environment's going to change. The people are going to change. Everything in your life is going to change. Because things no longer resonate at that level of hell, that level of fear that you were living at before. And you no longer take it. You no longer tolerate it. You no longer think about it. You don't speak about it. And you don't act on it. You think about things that are heavenly. And therefore, the things that are heavenly, those loving things, those are the things that come into your life. Those are the things that present themselves to you. Because rather than the electromagnetism, because it's working every single second, always, constantly working against you, it starts working for you. And when you can realize how powerful your thought force energy is, your consciousness energy, your life force energy is, and that it is so powerful and it gives you back exactly what you give it, then you're going to start to give it better. And if you want the goodness, you're going to put the goodness out, and you are going to believe and expect that it is going to come back to you, and that will be your experience. I love y'all so much. We were kind of here, there, and everywhere today. Don't really know how to even recap this, but I hope that you guys have the most wonderful day. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for being loyal. Please like and share and subscribe. Even share this with a friend, but please like this video. It helps to boost the algorithm. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you tomorrow.